back in junior high. The first time my parents left town and left me alone for a week. It's going good. I stayed in the basement and the entrance to the hallway that leads to my room had decorative beads hanging in the entranceway. I'm in my room watching TV with my faithful dog, Smokey, laying at the foot of the bed. All of a sudden, he starts barking wildly. A bark I'd never heard out of him, almost a cry. I think something is wrong with him, and just as I almost get a hand on him, he jumps off the bed and dives under it completely silent. I get to the floor to look under the bed for him, and I hear the beads in the entranceway start to rattle together as if someone ran into them. With a lot of force, I sit there scared shitless for a bit, then grab a bat and investigate. The beads are still swinging with force. Every door and window in the house is still locked from the inside. There aren't any air vents close to the beads, and Smokey refused to come out from under the bed for another 2 hours. To this day, I have no idea what caused those beads to rattle. Thus was around 2002, and I had just married my wife, and we had just had our first baby. The bedroom door opened up and hit my wife's side of the bed. Guess she went to get up for the baby in the middle of the night. She went to get out of bed, and when she put her feet down on the floor, she felt a body. She reached down and lifted her arm. She thought it was me on the floor at first, then she reached over and I was asleep in bed. She started screaming. I woke up. The guy passed out on our floor woke up. I chased him out of the house with a knife. In the end, basically some drunk came in our house and passed out on our floor without our knowledge in the middle of the night. Totally fucked up. This is when I was in high school. I'm chilling in the living room with my dog sleeping by my feet watching TV. When suddenly, my dog jumps up and runs to the stairs, which are right off the living room. Now my dog would normally never bark unless the doorbell rang. This time he went into attack mode, growling, barking, his hair rising on end. Then he would look at me trying to see if I would call him back. I was scared shitless. No one could have come home because you have to come through the living room to get the stairs, so no one could sneak in. After a minute, he would not let up. He kept acting like something was there, just something I couldn't see. I had to sit there as my dog was acting like he was ready to rip someone's throat. Until finally, he walked back to my feet, looking proud of himself. I like to think he scared something off that day, but I was very happy when we moved. When I was like 12, and I was asleep in my family's living room since I was sick and it was winter. For some quick background, my house has terrible insulation and my room was cold, but the family room was warm. So I was asleep, and at around 2 in the morning, I'm woken up to the feeling that someone is right there. I always slept with a flashlight since I read, so it was in my hands and I turn it on and point it in the direction of where I thought the guy was. Right there, just a foot away from me, was a guy staring right into my face. The light hit his face and he turned and ran away. I let out a blood-curdling bloody murder scream, and my mom and dad came running downstairs. Turns out he had freaking broken into our house, and then stood there staring at me. I still think if I would have never seen him, what could he have done to me? I lived with my parents. I was about 16. My parents left me at the house alone while they went out of town. We were from a small town, and we had this one crazy old guy that was known as a peeping Tom. Anyway, 16-year-old me decided it would be smart to watch The Shining alone. I'm like quarter way through the movie and I go into the kitchen to get a drink. I look out the window and the face is staring back at me. I lose it. I dropped my drink and ran to make sure the front door's locked. It was. I looked out my front window and saw the old man walking down the road.